Howdy everyone, and welcome to the Tank and Spank Quick Hit Guide to the Nohkud Offensive. Our goal with these guides is going to be to teach you the things you need to know to be successful in Mythic Plus and help you carry your group as a tank. We're going to go through the most important kicks, stops, and boss abilities to get you through the dungeon. Nohkud Offensive is the dragon riding dungeon, and the good news is the dragon ride in this dungeon is pretty straightforward, pass-fail mechanic. You need to be able to reach where you're going to fight the trash, but it's not overly difficult to do. And to help you in navigating the map, there are several updrafts throughout. And these will boost your speed as well as give you some height if you need it.
If you fly directly forward after the key starts, you'll wind up in Granyth's Plains. You'll need to clear out the mobs surrounding 3 lances in order to get the boss to land. And you should also clear out the 2 obvious patrols that run around in the middle area before bringing the boss down. In this area, Nokhkud Lance Masters cast Disruptive Shout, which should be kicked, and Nokhkud Horn Sounders cast Rally the Clan, which needs to be stopped. Nokhkud War Spears cast Swift Stab and dash at a random party member doing big damage and leaving a bleed. This has a minimum range of 5 yards though, so if everyone is stacked in melee, this won't happen. But there's a lot to dodge, so always being within 5 yards can be challenging. Horn Sounders and Longbowmen don't like to move, so DKs will be incredibly useful in this area.
After you clear the 3 lance areas, Granyth will land, and you can engage him. The main mechanic here is that every 30 to 45 seconds he will cast Eruption, which channels massive amounts of AoE damage to the group. If you shoot Granyth with the active lance, it will interrupt his cast. Only one lance is active at a time. You can tell which one it is because it'll have a circle above it. The Nokhkud Saboteurs will spawn occasionally and charge at that active lance and try to disrupt it. If they are successful in reaching the lance and disrupting it before they're killed, you won't be able to use the lance to interrupt the boss, and his cast will kill you. These mobs can be slowed, they can be rooted, and they can be stunned, and all should be used. Kill them before the boss. If you fly southwest from Granyth, you'll reach the Raging Tempest area. You must deactivate 3 totems to make the boss engageable. In this area, Primalist Storm Speakers cast Tempest and summon Squall, both of which are priority interrupts, with Tempest being the highest priority.
Once the totems are cleared and you clear the 2 patrols, you can engage the Raging Tempest. The main mechanic here is uncontrollable energy. The boss summons a ton of orbs that need to be soaked. Soaking an orb does a small amount of damage to you and increases your damage done by 5%, stacking. But any orb that hits the boss increases his damage by 5% and does a burst of damage to everyone. If a bunch of orbs get through, the damage of the boss's electrical storm will get too high to heal through. For tanks, if you're out of range of the boss's auto attack, it'll hit you with a nature damage cast instead. And during energy surge, the boss hits faster and adds a nature damage element to its auto attacks. This one is just really all about everyone's soaking orbs, though.
Up next, you head northwest to the area near Teera and Maruuk. There are 4 desecrated graves that you need to clear in order to be able to engage the boss. This is also a great area to pick up any extra count you need for your route, as most of the mobs don't hurt that bad. Yukul Death Speakers have 2 important casts. First is Grasp of the Dead, which is a root and can be kicked. The second is Chant of the Dead, which increases the damage of nearby allies by 50% and reduces their damage taken by 50% for 20 seconds. This requires a stop. The Yukul Beast Callers cast Desecrating Roar, which summons 3 adds that should always be kicked. Risen Mystics cast Swift Wind, which give the allies haste. Swift Wind can be kicked, but it can also be spell stolen or purged. Soul Harvesters gain extra damage when allies near them die. If you kill a lot of enemies on top of it, if it gets quite a few stacks of this, the Deathbolt Volley can become a problem and needs to be kicked as well. As for now, this could totally change, but the magic number for trash leaving this area is 79%.
After you clear the 4 grave sites, approaching the area where Teera and Maruuk are will trigger the RP to spawn them. They share a health pool, so Split Cleave is incredibly strong here. I say Split Cleave not because you want to keep them separate, but just because Teera loves to constantly jump away from you. Most of the fight will be spent chasing her around so that you can cleave on both targets, and because both bosses do more damage if they're more than 20 yards apart from each other. At 100 energy, Teera will cast Gale Arrow, which targets several players, and when it lands, tornadoes will shoot out from them. If you get this, move away from the group, and everyone needs to dodge tornadoes. She'll also occasionally cast an interruptible pushback. Maruuk occasionally does a frightful roar, which fears you if you stand in it, and at 100 energy, he casts Earth Splitter, which shoots lines of bad you just can't stand it. He also hits the tank with Brutalize, which kind of hurts.
After this, you fly towards Balakar Khan, but you can't fly directly to him. You need to land a ways out to the east. If you fly too far west, you'll anger the elements or something, and it'll kick you all the way back out. Dragon riding is not allowed in this area, but you can use your regular mounts. This area also has quite a few important kicks. Nokhkud defenders cast Blood-Curdling Shriek, which fears everyone for, about 7 minutes, and definitely needs to be kicked. The Nokhkud Thunderfist casts Deadly Thunder, which I guess is some really loud thunder or something because it stuns you for several seconds and also does near lethal damage. Then you come to Batak and Balara, a couple centaurs that are equally as much a pain in the ass as Teera and Maruuk. Batak casts the Blood-Curdling Shriek and does a big AoE frontal, and Balara likes to charge all over the place and throw spears. The number of kicks required in this area does make it kind of hard to combine trash pulls as well as pull trash onto the boss.
Then you fight Balakar Khan. In Phase 1, Khan doesn't do a whole lot. He rends the tank, leaving a dot, and throws a spear at a random player sometimes. Then around 60% he runs towards the middle of the room. While he is running to the middle, he is targetable, so if you drag him a ways away from the middle of the room, you can get some extra chip damage on him before the intermission. During the intermission, Khan becomes untargetable, and you deal with his 4 adds that just stand and cast. Kill them to fight the now empowered Khan. He starts using Dual Strike. He attacks first with Conductive Strike, then a couple seconds later he strikes with Thunder Strike. The debuff from Conductive Strike needs to be immediately dispelled before Thunder Strike, otherwise it'll increase the damage of Thunder Strike by 500%, and that will most likely one-shot the tank. His spear now also pulls everyone into it when it lands, and he immediately charges at it, so after getting gripped by the spear, move. He also casts Crackling Upheaval, which does damage and leaves behind area denial clouds. Thanks for watching, and good luck in those keys.